So what I want to do now is do Yang Ten form, but not looking for sequence. I'm not looking for a high kick, but I am looking for something that's safe where you're using the coordination of your mind and your body. So right offhand, I'm looking for shifting of weight. So in shifting of the weight, only the weightless foot can move. If only the weightless foot can move, then the other foot or opposite foot has to totally ground us, such as in commencing form. Commencing form, we're at 50-50, even distribution of weight. But once we decide to start, we have to tell our body and our mind, and through our mind, that only the weightless foot can shift. So how do we do that? So I'm going to turn this way, and whatever I say, you try to implement in your mind and then work it through your body. So we're at good Tai Chi posture. We're at 50-50, even distribution of weight. To commence, we need to shift all the weight to our right foot. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 allows us then to open. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Hands rotate to the middle of the thighs as we take a deep breath in as we elevate both hands. At shoulder level, we reverse the process. We drop our shoulders, flex our knees, tuck our elbows, make ourselves small. Left hand remains in the center, right hand rises up higher as we glance. We open the palms to the ceiling. We watch that right hand come to our ear. We turn our head and neck. We meet our hands in the middle. We slide back and push forward as if to repulse the monkey. Notice where my left hand is sitting to the hip, to my waist and hip area. We're going to set up our other side now. Left hand rises higher as we glance. We open the center hand, palms up to the ceiling. We watch that back hand come to our ear as a glance. Turn our head and neck, meet the hands in the middle, and we slide. Okay, I want to go over it as a drill. Center, higher, glance. Ear, turn the head and neck, meet in the center, repulse of the monkey. Okay, you drop that left hand. Center, glance, open, ear, turn, meet, slide. One more time, smooth it out. Higher, glance, ear, turn, meet, slide. Center, higher, open, glance, ear, turn your head and neck, meet, slide. T-stance. How do you get into a T-stance? T-stance. One hand higher, one hand sort of to your shoulder, not pressing against your body. Still relaxed in that marionette where we're relaxed with our shoulders dropped. When we brush our knee, what do? 3 or more things. We multitask. The back hand comes to the ear. Let's warm that up. It just moves this way, using your core, not your upper hand or wrist. The other thing that happens as the left hand drops down, 2 things happen. Ear and hand, ear and hand. 3 things happen. Ear, hand, and heel. How? Ear, hand, heel. Again. Ear, hand, heel. From a T stance, we're getting into an L stance, and then we have to do something with a bow stance. The upper body matches the bottom, or vice versa. So how can we do 3 things happening together in a coordinated 1 unit way? Ear, hand, ear, hand, heel. Here we go. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist to brush your knee. Sit back, sit down on that imaginary stool. Twist step with your left heel. T stance with your feet, setting it up correctly. We're going to brush our knee. What happens first? Or what can we do to warm up? The top hand comes to our ear. How? Top hand comes to the ear. One more time. What's the second thing that happens? The right hand comes down. It drops down. How? From the shoulder, it drops down. From the shoulder, it drops down. Two things happen. Ear and hand. Ear and hand. One more time. Ear and hand. Three things happen. Ear, hand, heel. Turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Set it up correctly. This is a drill. Three things happen. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Set it up correctly. Left hand higher, right hand to your shoulder. Three things happen. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. T stance. L stance. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Twist step, hold your ball on a T stance. Where's your weight? Weight should be on your right. Left toe should be carrying maybe 1-2% of your weight, okay? All right, take a rest. All right, this is what you did on a forward position, okay? So I'm gonna do 3 movements that we just covered. I'm in good Tai Chi posture. My shoulders are dropped. My chin is slightly down, not straight to the parallel to the ground, but slightly dipped down. My glance is way out into infinity. I'm ready to start with 50-50. I think through, how am I going to commence? I shift my weight to the right to create 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And I come down on a 50-50. My hands rotate to the middle of the thighs. I take a deep breath in as I elevate. At shoulder level, I make myself small. I drop my shoulders, I flex my knees, I tuck my elbows down. My left hand stays in the center. My right hand rises up higher. Okay, and I open the center or left hand to the ceiling. So the thing is, I'm catching a ball from the ceiling. I can't catch a ball from the ceiling with my center or left hand palms down, okay? So in this way, I'm centering myself. I'm putting my energy to compact and in balance, not to the left, not to the right, but in the center of your body. Whereas the right hand now rises up. When I say glance at the back hand, I don't mean for you to go this way. So the hand is never this way, but the hand is sorta to the side, maybe slightly further back, and you can see it. Not down, not super high, but maybe about forehead high. As I glance, I bring that back hand to my ear. I turn my head and neck. I meet the hands in the middle. That gives me the ticket, so to speak, to slide, as if to repulse the monkey. So how do we do that? Here, ear as you glance. Turn the head and neck. Meet the hands, then pull back, push forward at the same time. Center, higher, glance, open the front to the ceiling, so the palms is up. Glance and look at the left hand. Turn the head and neck, meet in the center, and slide. Weight heavily on the 2 feet. Again, center, higher, glance, open, ear, turn, meet, push, forward, pull back. Center, higher, glance, open that right hand, bring it to the ear, turn the head and neck, meet in the center, slide, T-stance. Set it up correctly. Left hand towards your shoulder, right hand up higher. We're going to multitask. Ear, hand, and heel. How? Ear, hand, heel, all together. Ear, heel, hand. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down on that imaginary stool, twist, step. T-stance, set it up correctly. Multitask. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Then ask yourself, are you in good Tai Chi posture? Is your knee not beyond your toe? Is your left or back knee not locked, but straight as an arrow? Then you can sit back and you can sit down on that imaginary stool to gain your weight so that you can alleviate the weight of the front foot to twist or pivot. Root down for safety and gravity. T-stance, set up your hands correctly. Glance at the back hand, all together. Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. So the right hand now should be sort of centering you, not to the side now, okay? Sit back, sit down, twist step, set it up correctly, all together. Ear, hand comes down, heel comes out. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. I'm going to move on, sit back, sit down, twist step, hold your ball on a T-stance. At this point, no tension, everything relaxed. Weighted on the right. Insubstantial foot on the left is going to come out on an L. The pattern is T, L, bow. We're going to part the wild horse's mane. The bottom hand advances, so we know that the left hand is on the bottom, the left foot is the insubstantial, therefore we're holding our ball correctly. Here we go. T stance, take an L stance. Bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist step. T stance, holding your ball. Right foot is insubstantial, right hand is on the bottom. Step out on an L, bottom hand advances as you turn your hips and waist, go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, L stance, bottom hand advances, turn the hips and waist, power that movement to go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist step, T stance, L stance, bottom hand advances to go up the horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, twist step. Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay, so very good. Okay, so as you can see, there's some organization, there's some plan, there's some rhyme or reason to how we move. But you also have figured out that if your hands, your neck, your upper body is set up correctly, the movements in Tai Chi are mind-driven through the hips and waist. If the hips and waist don't do anything, then the Tai Chi movements are not true, okay, are not true to form. Oftentimes I use the image of the hands holding a ball. So what do I mean by that? Or catching a ball. So when you part the wild horse's mane, everybody's saying, well, we can part it really well because all we have to do is make sure that the forward hand is, flares out. But that's really not true because in Tai Chi, we're trying to use our body in the most efficient way. So if something comes out, something has to stay back to counterbalance or to keep your balance or keep your posture erect. So we're going to look at, to me, both of them are dominant hands, or both are working together in coordination. So when one hand comes out, the other hand sits to the side of your body, sits to the side. Can't sit in the front, it has to sit to the side, as if it were holding a ball to the side of your hip. So over time, the hands will become soft, but maybe right now in the beginning, it's sweaty and it's pretty stiff. But as long as you know that the hand sits to the side rather than sits here, it sits to the side, then you have a little counterbalance, okay? So what I teach you is very, I want to say very basic, very elementary. But we're stable, so I have the advantage of showing you a stance and saying, this is where it specifically sits or what it specifically does. But Tai Chi being a dance, okay, being a dance and a meditative dance in motion, not all the time will you see it exactly where your teacher taught you it should be. But for our purposes, since I believe we're not all going to be performers, we need to know specifics. But once you're in motion, you have that liberty to wiggle a little bit. Okay, but basically, if you learn posture and alignment quite well, then that will lead into the next part of your journey where you're more relaxed and things flow a little bit, flow a little bit easily. Okay, so we said that to part the wild horse's mane, I would have to step out and I would have to turn my hips and waist, and the other hand sits to the side as if it were holding a ball. If I'm this way, I come out, I turn my hips and waist, I center myself, and the ball is still held here as a counterbalance. What I try to also say is that when you part the wild horse's mane, you end up pretty much in the center of your body rather than short of the center or way out to the side. So can you see that if I did this or did this, I'm more apt to be in imbalance. So we always are looking for centering. We're also looking for balance, okay? In multitasking, it's not easy. But once you get it, you say, wow, you know, it's a big accomplishment, and it is, because I don't know of anything in our regular normal activities that we're multitasking in that formation. But those are only 3 things, but really there are much, much more going on. Your mind is active. You know, every little muscle is in concert with that movement. So that in itself is telling me that there are a lot of hidden suggestions or experiences that we have to uncover when we learn something like Tai Chi. And it's not going to come in a few minutes, but it's going to come over time with better understanding and better conditioning and better flow of energy. So that's why it's a lifelong journey. It's not something where if you took a 5-week course that you'd be proficient. Okay? All right. So any questions now? So I kind of glanced at you and it looked pretty good, okay? And I know that you're here because you're our beginners, and that's very good. So I just want to remind you and share with you the premise in which you need to come out a little bit more, okay? And over time, your body will adapt to it. But as long as you know that if this is a T stance, the L stance does not come straight out, but it takes a out and to the side. It takes a out and to the side. It does not come just out. And the premise is, if you have a T and you have an L, you need the hips and waist movement, a span in which to turn. Okay, listen to that again. This is a T and this is an L correctly. Why do you need the foot or the heel out here? Because the hips and waist then have to have that room to turn to get into a bow stance. If you did not understand that and you said, this is a T and this is an L, you have no room to turn. You're going to put pressure on your knees, you're going to pressure on your joints, your hips and waist. You're not going to do Tai Chi. So therefore, you need to be very disciplined in your feet alignment. Once you are clear with it, the body just flows. The body just flows. All you need to do is say, I need to set up my upper body. If I know this is a T stance and this is an L stance, I set up my body, I turn. I do very little with my hands getting into the final position because the energy just takes me there. Okay, and this is one example of what I'm trying to promote. But in all movements, you can see that if we set it up correctly, the hands will get to where we want it to be through the movement of the hips and waist, okay?
you.